Hey guys, Martin here. You'll notice right off the bat that I am now bald, and it's something I do every so often. I shave my head because I don't have much hair to speak of anyway, so any kind of haircut is kind of meaningless. But I like to get rid of the whole thing. Ever since we did a charity stream online to raise money, I think it was for tsunami relief, and we had Kyle Bear on the stream, and we said if we reached like 10,000 or something, while he was, or over $9,000, I think it was, he would shave my head. And we reached that amount, and when he showed up, we told him, "Oh, you have to shave Martin's head now, by the way." And so he very graciously did that, and it was the first time I'd ever been completely bald, but it didn't feel so bad. I actually kind of enjoyed having a polished dome, and it saves a lot of time in the shower, I think. Not that I, again, have much hair to speak of, so there's not much time to spend on it. But yeah, I like the look, and I like how it feels, and I'm sure a lot of you will be like, no, that doesn't look good. You look like Walter White, a chubby British Walter White, but I don't know. I like the way it is. Uh, I had a bit of a bad weekend. Didn't feel so good the last 2 days. I don't know. I was really under the weather, and I'm not sure what specifically caused it. I've been working very hard, but not unduly to the point, as much as I was a week or two ago. I'm, if anything, I've cut down on my hours, so it's not overworking myself unless it's just cumulative and it's built up over time. But I've been in a really bad place, and I really had to reach out to some friends occasionally, and I was stressing people out with how down I was, I guess. But I'm trying to pick myself up and climb back up. It's hard, but I mean, it's not impossible. I mean, I didn't know if I would be able to look at the camera and talk and act like I normally do, but I feel okay right now, and it's good for me to talk to you guys. So thank you for that. But yeah, I wanted to spend today's video talking about a person more than a memory or a thing, because there are a lot of people in my life that have affected me very positively, and this one in particular, she has gone out of her way to help me during this whole ordeal, and obviously a lot of people have. My wife, absolutely, but my friend Katy has she's made time, even though she really doesn't have to. But she's made a lot of time to make sure I'm okay, and I honestly believe that without her, things might be very different. But yeah, I wanted to talk about that today, and yeah. So here's someone who makes me happy. I first met Katy, I believe, I'm probably going to mess up the date, and I apologize in advance, Katy. I think it was Otakon 2010 or 2011. 2011. I think 2011. Was I in the country in 2011? It was 2011 or 2012, and I do apologize. I should remember better. I really should. But we met at Otakon, and I didn't know her too well. I knew her friend Ellie at the time, but I didn't really know Katy. But over time, she and I, we became friends, like you do. It's one of those things where after a while online, you just gather this big group, that you just associate with. I don't know how many of you go into chat rooms or go on forums or get Skype calls going, but you just have like a group you tend to, familiarize yourself with and just become more acquainted with than anybody else in your life. In a different way. Obviously, in real life, you'll have a group of friends as well, but online, there's just something a little bit different about that. I think you're a little less. I'm a little less inclined to hold back, and I'm less inclined to be, the introvert that I usually am. But Katy was one of the big group that I guess that gravitated towards the whole Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged thing. There was a time when it was just like dozens and dozens of people who we'd see them at conventions all the time, and they'd be part of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged group, the entourage, and it was nice to see them. It got kind of overwhelming sometimes, but it was nice to have people you were familiar with, that you saw every so often, and that you see every day online, but when you see them in real life, it means a lot. But Katie was one of those people, and she's an extremely talented graphic designer. She is very, very outgoing, very empathic. I don't know if that's a real word or if that's from Star Trek, but empathic. I hope I'm not sounding like an idiot right now, but she'll key into your emotions, and she'll try and help out as best she can. I think the second time I met her was at Comic-Con, and I still wasn't close friends with her, but I remember at the end of the convention, her bus was like, she either missed her bus or her bus had been cancelled, and she came back in tears, and I felt so bad for her. But it's funny because the reverse situation is kind of what's happening right now. We grew closer as the years went on. She was one of the people that I saw the Yu-Gi-Oh! 3D movie with in New York. I saw it with Katy. I saw it with Brandon, my good friend, who has helped me out a lot over the years as well. I saw it with Mike, One Kids Entertainment. I think maybe Jesse was there, no whacking. I can't remember. Kurboh was there as well. Entourage, as I was saying. I really got to hang out with Katy that weekend, and I guess we bonded. We were forced to bond more than we usually would, because it was pouring with rain. It was my first time in New York, and I didn't know how crazy it got on the streets with the pedestrians and everything, and everyone was very aggressive and rushing everywhere. And at one point, it just started pouring with rain, so we had to walk all the way to the subway or something, and it was torrential. It was insane. And we ended up having to change out of our clothes when we got back to the apartment that we were staying at. And so everyone was sort of half naked for the evening. And we sat and watched Yu-Gi-Oh! The uncut DVDs, which was hilarious. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but Toonami published, not Toonami, Toonami published, Funimation published like 3 DVD sets. Well, just 3 DVDs really, where they took the original Japanese, translation and actually applied it to the dub, and they had the original 4Kids actors come back and do a lot of those lines and play their characters, but it sounds really awkward and stilted half the time, and it just doesn't work. You can't take one template and just take another one and then squish them together like that. But anyway, we all hung out and we watched that, and I guess after that was when Katy and I were friends, like full, like just it wasn't just that she was another part of the group. She was my friend, and I'm very glad that she's my friend. When I started really realizing that I had depression as bad as I do or did, because I don't think it's as bad as it was, and I'm very happy to be able to say that, and mean it. But when it was really, really bad, when I'd hit, I guess, rock bottom, or at least as close as it could get, she volunteered to talk to me every single day. Even if I was having an okay day, which was very rare back then. It's a miracle. I'm amazed that I've gone as long as I have without having a couple of awful days in a row, But back then it was like every day. Every day I was at my lowest point, but she would spend time talking to me, either whether it was via text or whether it was over the phone or via Skype. She'd find a way to reach out to me and say, "Are you doing okay? How are you today?" And if I was having a miserable time of it, which was usually the case, she would talk me through it. She'd just talk to me until my mind was taken off it, or until I felt a little bit better, or I felt like I could, work up the nerve to do something other than, sit and ponder how awful I felt. There were multiple times where I was ready to kill myself, and she talked me down from it. And it's incredible that I have a friend who was there for me and willing and able to do that. And I really, truly believe that I wouldn't be here without her. And the same can be said of a lot of my friends, but mostly her. More than anybody else, aside from Mariana, my wife, more than anybody else, Katy has been a huge support. And she saved my life. And she still texts me every day. Even though I'm having a much better time of it, she will text me every day, beginning of the day, middle of the day, and the end of the day, just to say, how are you doing? And that saves lives. That kind of compassion. It saved my life. And so I'm enormously grateful to have Katy in my life and to continue to have her in my life. And I really hope that if you are going through something similar to what I'm going through, or even just in general, even if you're doing fine, I hope you have somebody who's there for you. It's a good idea, if you are going through depression, to have one person, even if you don't want to explain to them exactly what you're going through, just to have one person who, can take a minute or two out of their day to talk to you. And sometimes that's a lot to ask. Don't get me wrong. I would not have been surprised if, at any point, Katy or one of my other friends could be like, I really want to help you, but I'm really super busy, and if I don't do this thing, then I could screw up. I could screw up big time, or I could get in trouble. Well, because my life isn't anybody else's. But there are people out there who will take that time, and I really hope that you're able to find someone like that, or that you have found someone like that. And I'm very grateful that I have Katy in my life. So thank you, Katy. One of the reasons I've been feeling so bad the last few days is because I feel very strongly that I'm a failure. I know a lot of you will probably look at the grand scheme of things and be like, well, how can you think that? And I just released a video last week where I'm like, I'm in a video game. I'm a character. I'm multiple characters in the game. I got to voice characters in a video game that is now available in GameStop. I know it sounds like a cheap plug, but what I'm trying to say is, when you have evidence like that right in front of you, how can someone feel like a failure? I still do. And chances are the people who are wildly successful feel like failures too. Often, no matter what walk of life you come from, these feelings make their way into your brain sometimes. And I guess I don't know if I've addressed it before, but I want to say, because there are a lot of people who come up to me and be like, I thought, when I saw that you had depression, how could you have depression? Because of, you're popular, and you're this thing on the internet, and you make videos and you make people laugh, and you like the comedy thing. There's no defense against it. And that's the problem. The only thing you can do is rebuild once you've been hit by that depression. Once depression has you, you just have to slowly make your way out of the quicksand. There's no way to really see it and avoid it. And then it just happens, and you have to reach out for a helping hand or grab hold of something to pull yourself out of it. Getting very literal with the metaphor there. But I felt like a failure the last few days because I feel like I'm always letting people down. I feel like I'm always doing that, like no matter what. I guess I was having a good day, and I managed to do all my chores, and I put off editing videos because I've been overdoing it on the editing lately. I know it probably doesn't seem like it, but I've been working every day on videos, and I took some time to just get some house chores done, go do the shopping, get a bunch of stuff done that needed to get done, and that feels good. Let me tell you, when you're depressed and when you're feeling in a rut, doing stuff that shows that once it's done, you can look and see that you did something. That feels really good. Like the first thing that I did when I was starting to do therapy to lift my spirits was clean up my desk, and that felt really good. So I was doing that on Saturday morning and early afternoon. I was just taking care of business, I guess, and then I got back and I was parking the car, and we have an underground garage. Not underground. We have a garage with everybody in the apartment complex parks, and the spaces that we have are right up against the wall, so it can be kind of a tight squeeze. And when I was turning the car to park, I accidentally scraped the side of the car in the front. I don't know what it's called. I'm not smart. But I scraped the front corner of the car, and it's not awful. It just doesn't look good. It's cosmetic, but it's, in my head, I'm like, how could you do that? Why weren't you more careful? So everything I did that was good that day just disappeared in my mind, and all I could think about was that one thing. And then as a result, I kept making things worse and worse, and I kept screwing up more and more, and I pushed myself down into this state of, being like, well, you're just worthless. You can't do anything right. I still kind of feel like that right now. I don't know if I'm doing a good job on this video. I guess I'll go back to something very early on in my life, which I'm sure I've mentioned in previous videos. And like I said, I'm going to repeat myself a lot in these videos, but it stands to be repeated. I dropped out of school. And I dropped out of school because of I was extensively bullied, and I had to be taken out for, just to recover from that. And after that, I just couldn't leave the house for a long while. I didn't trust people. I was a wreck, and part of that was my own doing. In fact, a lot of that was my own doing. I have to be very honest. I just didn't believe in myself anymore because I felt like I'd failed the ultimate test. My aunt was dying of cancer, and I remember right as I got accepted into this school that I ended up going to, she told me that going to this school meant that I had so many options. I had so many options in my life because I had this opportunity to go to this school, and she was dying, and she did end up dying very soon after that. And the fact that I didn't take that opportunity still eats away at me. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about failing like that. Even if it's a small failure, or even if it's something astronomical, or if it just feels astronomical, because the small failures can feel astronomical. They can feel like they're going to ruin your life. They don't always. They very often don't. This one felt like it did when I dropped out of school, and it may as well have. My life was upside down, and I was waking up at 10 at night and going to sleep at 8 in the morning, and that was my life for like a year at least. I would do that, and I didn't see people because I didn't want to see people, and I didn't want them to see me, and I was ashamed of myself because I'd failed, and I felt like I was failing every day, failing more and more. But that isn't permanent. Failure isn't permanent. Failure can have certainly long-lasting effects, but you have to know that at the end of the day, it's what you do after that that matters. It's what you do to pick yourself up, to put the pieces together. It's what you do with the mistakes you've made and with the hurt you may have caused or felt. And it's how you carry on after that that matters. You are not your mistakes. You are not your failings. You are your successes. You are your achievements. You are your friends. You are your family. You are the love that you put out there. And that's always going to be in you or a part of you. Your failures will just try and drag those down, but they can't do it permanently. If you mess up an exam at school, you can retake the exam. If you hurt a friend and lose that friendship, you can either reconcile at some point in the future, or if it's a friendship you don't feel is worth reconciling, you can make more friends, better friends. If, like me, you drop out of school and you end up dropping off the face of the earth for several years, you can make an internet series and move to Los Angeles at some point and do voiceover and do things that you've wanted to do your whole life. And I'm not trying to brag when I say that. I'm just trying to illustrate that I ruined my life. But I'm still here, and I'm doing well. So don't let failure dictate how you perceive yourself. Because you're not a failure. Nobody is a failure altogether. You can redeem that. You can pick up the pieces and you can rebuild, even if it doesn't look the same as it did when it fell apart. As long as you can build something out of it, that's what matters. And you can be something amazing. You can do something amazing. Even a small thing. Like I said, just talking to somebody and asking them how they're doing can save lives. So, don't underestimate yourself. And don't let failure drag you down. Alright, bit of a heavy one this week. I hope it wasn't too depressing, too disheartening. But it was important for me because I've been in a bad place the last 2 days, and I'm hoping today will go better. It's past 10:30 in the morning, so I have the rest of the day to feel better. I'm gonna watch some wrestling and write notes for my stupid Mark Remark series, which I enjoy a lot. I do enjoy doing that. That's one of the things that I love to do right now. And this weekend, I'm going to WrestleMania up in Santa Clara, I think it is. Either Santa Clara or San Jose, or both. I don't know geography, or cars. But I'm going to WrestleMania with a good friend, Luke, and we're going to go and spend the night up there and see wrestling live. And I'm really looking forward to it. I know my show might make it seem like I complain a lot about wrestling, but all of that is fraudulent. It's meant to be a satirical take on the way the internet complains about wrestling. But I love wrestling, and I'm really looking forward to going and seeing everything go down, and I'll have a good time. And I hope you have a good week. So thank you for watching. Take care of yourself.